Our second big trade of the year has been completed in the Flock League, and we might have finally fixed our running back issues. All right, guys, I talked a lot this week in the Week 9 reaction, Week 10 preview video about how we're struggling to figure out this running back 2 situation. We got J.K. Dobbins kind of holding it down right now, but he's got some bad matchups coming up. And I talked about how we're going to have to kind of platoon this thing until now. Thursday Night Football just concluded an awful game, by the way, just terrible. J.K. Dobbins ends up with just under 10 points. He's efficient as ever, but doesn't get in the end zone and ends up under 10 points. And that's just kind of been the story of J.K. Dobbins the past little while here. He's not a part of the trade, though. Without further ado, I'll announce it here. I ended up sending to Thomas, who has been very active this week, Keenan Allen and Deebo Samuel. And in return, I received Travis Etienne and Chris Godwin. Now, I'll start with who I'm sending away, beginning with Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen was a huge hit for us in the draft. Took him in the 11th round, left for absolute dead. And through the first 7 weeks of the season, he was very good when we needed him. He put up, in the first 3 weeks, 19, 17, and 19 points. He had 10 in week 5 with a few bad ones sprinkled in there, and then 29, if you'll remember, in that week 7 game, where he wasn't even going to be in my starting lineup, but Deebo got ruled out against Dallas, and I had to throw him in, and it ended up being big for us. But in the past 2 weeks, and I talked about this in my video that came out earlier this week, that he ran only 25% of the snaps in week 8 and only 37% of the snaps in week 9. This is something I'm very concerned about because coming into week 8, the lowest snaps he had ran all season was 55%, and he was getting a steady volume of 7 targets minimum. And the past 2 weeks, with those low snap counts, only 5 targets each game. Now, for a younger player, you might be able to read into this, okay, why is this happening? Is it situation? All this kind of stuff. But with Keenan Allen, he's a 33-year-old wide receiver with a second-round pick in Trey Harris behind him and a tight end breaking out in Rondé Gadsden. And so going forward, it's very concerning to me that his role is just going to kind of diminish. And maybe he's still the guy on third downs and maybe he's used around the goal line, that kind of thing. But it's just not going to be reliable enough to me to be that much of an upgrade over a waiver wire flex play. So I was very happy to squeeze any value I could out of Keenan in this deal. And similarly with Deebo Samuel, it's kind of the same story. He starts off super hot, 22 points and 17 points in the first 2 weeks. Then in week 3, the blowout against the Raiders, he doesn't even play half of the snaps and has a dud. Weeks 4 and 5, incredible. Again, Jaden Daniels is dealing with some injuries. Deebo is dealing with the heel injury. He hasn't scored 10 points since week 5. And now, likely without Jaden Daniels for the rest of the regular season, probably the whole year. I don't see why the Commanders would put him back out there on a losing team. So he's going to be dealing with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. And not only that, but this offense just isn't really functioning. Deebo is the only real weapon. Terry McLaurin is hurt. They cannot run the ball at all. I think in a better situation, Deebo is somebody who I would have liked to keep. We obviously got him at a pretty good value in the draft. But from this time last week to now, his value has decreased a ton. And so the fact that I was able to get out of him here, much like Keenan, while these guys are kind of trending downwards, it seemed to be a no-brainer for me. And to talk about the guy that we were acquired, obviously Chris Godwin is in this deal as well, but this deal was for Travis Etienne. The running back 17 on the season so far, barring a few games from weeks 5 to 7 where he played the Chiefs, the Seahawks, and the Rams, Travis Etienne has been very, very good. On the season, he is averaging 13.5 points per game, almost 5 yards a carry, going for 75 yards. He's also involved as a receiver a little bit, almost 2.5 catches a game. And he's just that strong running back 1 on his own team that I'm going to be able to plug into my lineup with confidence every week. We talked on the midweek video about how this running back room is struggling. After Devon Achane, there's nothing really to be excited about. Like I said, J.K. Dobbins has been solid, but it's just not good enough. He's a flex play at best. Travis Etienne has an opportunity to be more than that. His rest of season schedule is by no means incredible, but it's not that bad. This week he plays the Houston Texans, not that great, but I'm thinking the Jags will be down in this game. They are missing their best 2 wide receivers, Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. Maybe he gets involved more as a passer. Quite a few good matchups down the stretch, including the Titans in week 13, which will be big. That is a game against Thomas, actually. And then in week 15, if we make it into the playoffs and if we're there, the Jets, who just traded away their best run defender. Their defense is not looking very good anymore. So Travis Etienne has already passed his bye. He's going to be in my lineup every week for the rest of the season. And he has several good matchups that hopefully we'll be able to get 20 plus points from him. This move does weaken my lineup quite a bit this week. I shouldn't say quite a bit. Basically, Etienne replaces Debo in the lineup, and then I need to find a replacement for Keenan because Keenan was going to start for me. Now I have Ray Davis and Jordan Mason, both of which the running backs ahead of them in James Cook and Aaron Jones are dealing with slight injuries. And so if either of those guys are the starters in their backfields, I'll be able to easily plug them in. There's been a lot of talk, Ray Davis versus Ty Johnson, who will get the workload. Ty Johnson has been playing more snaps. My personal belief is that because his role is regardless of James Cook. Whereas once James Cook has left a void of all these carries, I believe Ray Davis will be the one to take them over. So if Ray Davis is the starter because James Cook is ruled out, or if Aaron Jones is ruled out for this game and Jordan Mason is playing, one of those guys, I would love to put them in my lineup. If neither of them are viable, I'm going to have to find somebody off waivers. And if that is the case, I'm at a complete loss of who I would pick. There's options like Kendrick Bourne. There's options like Malik Washington, Keon Coleman, Olamide Zaccheaus, Jerry Jeudy. None of these scream out to me as being great options. And honestly, I think they're all relatively the same. It's a shot at a touchdown. It's a shot at a big play, hopefully. Put in the comments who your favorite random, it's like a DFS low-level start who could go huge this week. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to pick a comment. Maybe the one with the most likes. We'll see. If it makes sense, maybe I'll do that. Comment with the most likes of who I should plug into my lineup. If it's not going to be Ray Davis or Jordan Mason because the running backs ahead of them are healthy, I will plug in some random wide receiver off of waivers into my lineup that you guys like. I guess I should touch on Chris Godwin super quick. Obviously, the word came out today, actually, that he may not return until late November, early December. The other option to get from Thomas was Calvin Ridley, who's on bye this week. I figured Godwin potentially would be easier to flip for a spot start. It doesn't seem like anybody really wants him. I've shopped him around a tiny bit in like the hour that I've had him. Nobody really seems interested. I'd be fine to just stash him and hold him, and maybe he's viable near the end of the year. I can sort of afford to wait instead of getting a random flex option. But obviously there's not a ton of upside there. Otherwise he wouldn't have been so cheap. But there you have it. My second trade of the year in the Flock League goes down, and I'm really happy about it. Let me know what you guys think about the trade. Let me know what other moves you think I should be potentially making. My last trade video obviously did very, very well, so hit the like, get this pushed out in the YouTube algorithm, hit the subscribe button. All right, I'm making these videos every single week. Maybe I'll make a trade next week. Who knows? We'll have to see. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in week 11.